For friends, one wrong turn, and a visitor center that resets reality every time they die. What begins as a simple hiking trip spirals into a bloody time loop filled with monsters, masks, and madness. This is more than a story, it's a survival game. Welcome to Basement 13. They thought it would be just another hike. For friends, Jake, Emma, Leah, and Theo decided to hit a remote mountain trail somewhere deep in the US, far from crowds, noise, and anything that resembled civilization. By evening, they were still hiking. The trail started feeling off. Too quiet. Too twisted. Every turn felt familiar but wrong. That's when Jake spotted it. A wooden sign nailed to a crooked post. The name carved into it didn't match the trail. It pointed to a valley that wasn't supposed to be part of their route. Jake stopped cold. "This isn't the right trail," he said. Panic kicked in. The sun was dropping fast, and the idea of retracing their steps in the dark felt like asking to fall off a cliff. Jake suddenly remembered what a local had told him earlier that week. Something about an abandoned visitor center near one of the marked signs. It was supposed to be shelter for lost hikers. He told the others and they followed him. After a short walk through the woods, there it was, a building half-eaten by vines and shadows. They decided to wait the night out there and leave as soon as morning hit. Better safe than dead. As they approached the building, the clouds above twisted black, and a sharp rain began hammering the trees. By the time they got inside, lightning cracked across the sky. The door slammed shut behind them. Jake locked it from the inside. They dropped their gear at the entrance. The inside was dusty and cold. Old wooden walls. Rotten furniture. Broken glass crunched under their boots. Jake lit a fire using scraps from torn flyers and furniture bits. The fireplace hissed to life. They sat, waiting, watching, hoping this was just a creepy detour. It was only 6:45 p.m. That's when Emma and Leah started feeling uneasy. The air felt heavy. The shadows felt like they were breathing. Jake laughed and tried to lighten the mood. He told them about the local guy who'd warned him that the visitor center was haunted. He said people who stay here, they don't come back. Jake chuckled. Said some girl named Melanie went missing months ago. Before he could finish mocking the superstition, the windows slammed open. The door unlocked itself. Wind howled in like it had been waiting. Light bulbs burst. The fire died. The room was swallowed by freezing cold and howling snow. In full panic, they scrambled to lock everything again. They relit the fire. Lit every candle they could find. Flickering flames danced across their terrified faces. But when the light returned, Emma was gone. No scream. No noise. No footprints. 1 second she was sitting near the fire. Next second just gone. Theo ran to the hallway yelling her name. Jake checked outside, scanning the blizzard-white woods with a flashlight that barely cut through the fog. Nothing. Leah started crying. "She wouldn't leave without telling us," she said, voice shaking. Theo searched the building again, room by room. That's when he heard it. Footsteps. Fast. Barefoot. Running across wet floor. He chased the sound, turned a corner, and saw a figure bolting through the snow outside. A girl. Emma? He didn't wait. He sprinted toward the back exit, slipped on frozen wood but pushed through. Outside, snowflakes stung like knives. Then he saw her. A person. Still. Standing. Face turned away. Hair like Emma's. Thin arms. Shaking. He stepped closer. Emma? She turned. And Theo's heart stopped. It was his own face. Exactly. Same eyes. Same nose. Same mouth. But it was wrong. The skin looked like it had been peeled off and stitched back on. Loose. Wet. Hanging. And under the eyes? Deep black hollows. The mouth opened unnaturally wide. No scream. Just this choking gargle like someone drowning in their own lungs. Theo staggered back, slipped, and ran without looking again. Inside the building, Jake had his own moment of hell. He was in the corridor near the fireplace when he looked down. His hands were bleeding. Long, deep bite marks across both wrists. Fresh. Too precise to be an accident. He hadn't felt anything, but now it looked like something had clamped down and gnawed through him. He screamed. Loud. Broken. Leah and Theo rushed back in, pale and breathless. But what they saw next twisted their insides. Something was moving under Leah's skin. Her cheek bulged, like something was crawling just beneath the surface. A worm, or worse, a centipede. Theo backed up. Jake gagged. What the hell is that? Leah collapsed, screaming. The thing under her skin split into two, crawling down her neck. Her face turned dark, black veins spreading like ink under her skin. She convulsed, then stopped moving, and went cold. The boys grabbed her arms, but she was limp, her face frozen in a wide, unnatural smile. Then something hit the front door. Art. They turned just as it burst open, and Emma's body fell through it. But it wasn't Emma anymore. She was twisted, bloated, eyes open but empty. Behind her, stepping into the light of the flames, a man, wearing a mask, blank, dirty, homemade, and holding a blood-stained axe. Before they could move, think, breathe, he swung. But that wasn't the end. They woke up again. Not in a hospital. Not in the woods. Back inside the visitor center. By the same fireplace. Same bags. Same gear. Same time. "6:45 p.m. They were back at the fireplace. Same room. Same clothes. Same injuries. Even Emma, alive, breathing, confused, sat right there with them. Jake looked at the clock. 6:45 p.m. The exact moment when it all started. Leah stared at her hands like they were someone else's. Theo stood, opened the front door and peeked outside. Same forest. Same eerie quiet. Same snow just beginning to fall. "We're in a loop," Jake whispered. And he was right. They tried leaving immediately. Grabbed their bags. No more hesitation. Ran through the trees, past the trail, through the frozen fog. For a second it felt like they'd made it. They reached the clearing. Could see the distant outline of the valley road. That's when the trees began to shake. Not from wind. From something massive moving through them. Branches snapped like bones. The ground shook. And then they saw it. The creature. At least 12 feet tall. Skin like torn rubber. Eyes sunken. Mouth stitched into a permanent grin. It moved like a puppet. Twitching, dragging one leg, growling like an engine that never died. It charged. They ran. Didn't get far. It reached them, scooped them like toys, and the screaming began. Jake's ribs crushed in its grip. Leah's legs snapped sideways. Emma's face went pale, mouth frozen open. Theo got one last look before it lunged at him. And then, darkness. They woke up again. Same fire. Same room. Same goddamn clock. 6:45 p.m. No one said a word this time. They didn't cry. Didn't scream. They just sat. Broken. Until Jake stood. "We need answers." They searched every corner of the building. That's when they found it. A locked door in the basement. Inside, an old bulletin board. Covered in missing persons flyers. All different people. Different years. Same location, this valley. And taped dead center? Their photos. Each one stamped with a date. 8 days from now. Etched into the wall behind the flyers were the words, "If you want to live, you have to survive. Until dawn." Theo turned to the others. "It's a game. Or a curse," Emma added. Before they could say more, a loud crack echoed behind them. Someone had hit Jake in the head with a baseball bat. They all blacked out. When they woke up, same room. Same clock. 6:45 p.m. But now they remembered everything. Each death. Each scream. Each time the creature tore them apart. Every night they tried to escape, it ended the same way. Dead. Reborn. Trapped. And no matter what they did, they couldn't survive until dawn. 8 days later, the local news ran a story. 4 hikers missing. Names Jake, Emma, Leah, Theo. Presumed dead. But the valley isn't empty. Because now, Clover has entered it. Looking for her missing sister, Melanie. And she's not alone. So the question is, will they survive until dawn? Or just become the valley's next missing legend? If they couldn't escape by morning, what makes you think you could? Every scream, every death, every loop, they were trapped in a nightmare that only ends one way. And now someone else just entered the valley. Want to know what happens next? Hit subscribe to Basement 13 and join the horror cult. We drop true horror, nightmare fuel, and curse tales every single week. Turn on notifications so the next scream doesn't go unheard. Because next time, it might be your name scratched into the wall. Don't listen alone.